Hey everyone, Sam here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a 2025 sci-fi action horror film called Primitive War. Get ready for some explosive cinema.
1968. At the height of the Vietnam War, a unit of Green Berets is sent into the jungle for a special mission. That very night, they make contact with command to report. Everyone is dead, and only 2 soldiers remain alive, in urgent need of evacuation. Their transmission is cut off by unknown monsters, which attack another soldier and drag him into the darkness. The last survivor tries to escape while firing back, but the creature finds him as well. A dinosaur-like beast attacks the man and literally devours him before disappearing into the shadows. Soon after, radio operators under Colonel Jericho arrive at a U.S. forces camp in Vietnam. Nearby, in a village, they discover a Soviet truck carrying strange barrels. Inside is radioactive material, evidence of experiments with unpredictable consequences. Realizing that during the height of the Cold War this could lead to the downfall and disappearance of the U.S., Jericho decides to bring in the best specialists, the Vultures. This is a long-range reconnaissance team of 7. Sergeant First Class Ryan Baker, his deputy Xavier, rookie radio operator Vern, 2 seasoned soldiers, and 2 snipers. Currently, the Vultures are on another mission. After infiltrating an enemy village, they move quickly and ruthlessly. The sniper takes out lookouts, firing during thunderclaps so the shots go unheard. Soon, the group enters the village, killing everyone in their path. They manage to rescue 2 surviving prisoners, which is considered a success. Upon returning, the team meets Colonel Jericho and receives a new assignment. Enter the remote jungle and locate the missing Green Berets. They are not briefed on the mission details, the dangers of encountering Soviet soldiers, or the monsters that roam the area. Their only instructions are to find traces of Allied forces, relay coordinates, and rescue the Green Berets if any survivors remain. The team has just 12 hours to rest, during which they can eat, sleep, and flip through adult magazines. At night, the Vultures set out on the mission. Along the way, the helicopter experiences technical problems, and the soldiers witness a horrifying sight. Part of the jungle has been destroyed, as if a massive beast had passed through, leaving enormous tracks and a sea of blood behind. Upon reaching the starting point, the 7-man team surveys the area and finds a backpack belonging to one of the missing soldiers. Inside is a map pointing to Research Station number 4, but even more alarming are a massive feather from an unknown creature and gigantic bird tracks unlike those of an ostrich or an emu. The soldiers realize a massacre took place here. Blood and spent shells litter the area. Staying focused on their main objective, finding the missing Green Berets, the Vultures push deeper into the jungle, following the strange tracks. Soon, they confront a primal fear, sensing that they are not at the top of the food chain. Something in these night-shrouded jungles makes them shiver with terror. The commander naively hopes the sounds they hear belong to rock monkeys, but the cries of these predators are far too horrifying to believe that. Trying to stay calm, the group moves forward, when suddenly an unseen creature attacks Baker, dragging him off into the darkness. Frightened but unbroken, the sergeant fires wildly, forcing the creature to release him before it disappears into the undergrowth. Reunited, the team continues, hoping to reach their first checkpoint by dawn. The gunfire, however, has attracted not only the monstrous predators of the jungle but also a nearby Soviet squad called the Dogs of War. Tolstoy, Nikita, Sergei, and Alexander are accompanied by Vietnamese partisan Con Yen, who lost her entire family to American forces and is determined to kill the enemy at any cost. Her plan is to lure the Soviet soldiers into a trap so they can be destroyed. But the monsters show no mercy, lurking behind trees. Alexander loses his guard and becomes the first victim of the creature that attacked Baker. The predator drags him off and kills him brutally, terrifying the entire Soviet group. Minutes later, the Vultures arrive at a cave tunnel. Baker orders a reconnaissance of the interior, but the tunnel stretches too deep, possibly leading to the other side of the jungle. With no time to hesitate, the team ventures into the darkness, hoping the path is clear. Around a bend, they find several dead soldiers, but the worst is yet to come. The tunnel swarms with small Deinonychus, ready to attack and devour the Americans. Seeing the prehistoric predators, the soldiers open fire and try to retreat. In the chaos and darkness, the group becomes separated, leaving Baker and Vern alone with the pursuing monsters. Climbing out of the cave using vines, they temporarily reach safety. The remaining 5 Vultures, having lost their commander, also escape the tunnel, only to see the monsters still surrounding them, hidden in the foliage. As the soldiers prepare to continue fighting, the creatures suddenly retreat, not out of fear of gunfire, but because something far more terrifying is nearby. The Vultures catch sight of a gigantic Tyrannosaurus that passes just meters away, and they wisely decide not to shoot, avoiding even greater danger. Meanwhile, Baker and Vern stumble upon an elephant graveyard, puzzled by who could have stripped the bones bare. There, they encounter a mother Tyrannosaurus sleeping while nursing her young. The babies notice the humans and begin screaming, provoking the enraged mother to attack Baker and Vern, perceiving them as a threat. Bullets have no effect on the enormous predator, forcing the 2 soldiers to flee. Just as it seems the monster retreats, they feel a false sense of safety. Then, the father emerges, ready to tear them apart. The escape continues through the night, but their strength is fading, and they need a plan to shake off the predator. Hiding behind a fallen tree, Baker uses a grenade as a distraction to buy a little time. As they flee, Baker and the rookie make it to the river, but ahead looms a 10-meter cliff. With no time to find a safer way down, they jump, hoping the Tyrannosaur can't swim. Unfortunately, the monster follows them into the water and swims effortlessly, but eventually loses interest. Pulling Vern ashore and reviving him, Baker meets Sofia Wagner. The Soviet paleontologist is willing not only to help but also to protect the soldiers, on the condition that they do her a favor. She explains that the Tyrannosaur family sticks together and cares for its young, so the monster isn't hunting, they're just trying to return to their mate and offspring. Meanwhile, the 5 vultures push forward. Unaware of what happened to their commander and the rookie, they decide to head for the research station, assuming Baker has the same goal. Along the way, the American soldiers encounter various dinosaur species, as if they've stepped into a real-life Jurassic Park. Some are aggressive and fight each other, while others are herbivores that follow them almost like pets. Sophia gives Vern and Baker a brief tour, introducing them to both dangerous and relatively peaceful dinosaurs. Soon, they arrive at her hideout. Turns out it's research station number 4. Everyone who knew of it is dead, and she's the sole survivor, still grieving her husband's death. Due to her emotional breakdown, she uses prohibited substances, but Baker still trusts her and asks for more details about what's happening. Vern contacts headquarters, speaking with Colonel Jericho, but he dismisses the dinosaur story as madness and refuses to send a helicopter for evacuation. From Sophia's account, it becomes clear that the dinosaurs inhabiting the land are the result of a failed scientific experiment. They're overseen by Soviet General Gregory Borodin, a madman and true dictator, willing to destroy anyone in his path. When scientists failed to meet his expectations, he executed them all. Sophia is the only survivor of this insanity, now in hiding, with her sole desire being to find Borodin and avenge her husband's death. Baker is willing to help, but only if she provides more intel and assists in locating the rest of their group. It also becomes clear that the creature that attacked Baker is a Utahraptor, the largest and most dangerous type of raptor. Baker, Vern, and Sophia set out to find the 5 vultures. At the same time, the American soldiers come under attack from the dogs of war. During the firefight, Keyes is badly wounded in the leg and falls to the ground. The others try to locate the enemy and return fire. When shadows appear overhead, a flock of pterosaurs has spotted them and sees the humans as prey. Condon runs first and hides in the trees while the Russians keep shooting at the flying monsters. That only angers the pterosaurs, and they attack Tolsty, tearing him apart. Sergei and Nikita fight their way free and escape into the jungle. The Americans do the same, dragging the wounded Keyes off the field. When the vultures take cover in the jungle, Baker, Vern, and Sophia join them. They don't get a chance to plan. New monsters surround them from all sides. Sophia says it's a pack of Deinonychuses hunting from both ground and trees. Dozens of small predators attack from every direction and the soldiers are forced into a 360-degree defense. In the chaos, one dinosaur snatches Keyes and hauls him into the brush. Even wounded, he refuses to give up and fights tooth and nail to survive. Surrounded by 5 Deinonychuses, Keyes kills one and wounds another. The pack momentarily retreats, but only because a Utahraptor is nearby. The large raptor pounces on Keyes, biting him repeatedly. He's bleeding badly. Hearing his friends call for him, Keyes stabs the predator in the eye with his knife, and the vultures pull him to safety. Seeing the many wounds and the heavy blood loss, Sophia suggests leaving Keyes behind, but Baker won't abandon his squadmates. He orders them to fashion a stretcher from poles and stop the bleeding. Then the group heads for the research center. That night they hide in a shelter, but Sophia steals the only painkiller to calm her nerves. Trusting Baker, she reveals that Borodin's project is a particle collider capable of creating wormholes. They intended to use them for teleportation. The USSR planned to turn it into a weapon against the United States, teleporting troops to the White House to wipe out the enemy. A malfunction, however, opened wormholes not just through space but through time, and now thousands of dinosaurs have poured into the Vietnam jungle. They can't simply blow up the collider. That would create thousands more wormholes. The only way to stop Borodin's madness is to shut the collider down and then destroy the general's camp and all his research. The dialogue is cut short by the sounds of monsters, drawn to the research center by the smell of blood. Sophia reports that about 6 Utahraptors have broken into their world, and they're nearly impossible to kill. They'll surround the team and leave no chance if they hesitate or fail to find a way out. The squad contacts headquarters, requesting a helicopter for evacuation, but it's too late. Giant raptors surround the building and begin their assault, squeezing through every opening. They smash windows, break doors, and even chew through the roof, turning the soldiers into prey. As they fight off the attack, the team realizes they're trapped. Sophia spots a ventilation shaft leading to an old boat, a possible escape. The wounded Keyes knows he'll only slow them down, so he asks to be moved to a corner with a few grenades. Saying goodbye, Logan leaves him his last cigarette before the group evacuates. Keyes sacrifices himself, detonating the grenades to take out the predators. The next morning, Baker shares his decision with the vultures. He understands that Borodin is insane and obsessed, and they're the only ones who can stop him. This is no longer a war over territory or national dominance. It's a fight for humanity's survival. Their mission: locate the Soviet base, destroy the collider, and evacuate as heroes. Not everyone shares Baker's optimism, but no one is backing down. Just when they think they're safe on the river, Spinosaurus attack. They manage to escape, spotting herbivorous dinosaurs on the shore. Easy prey. Logan starts shooting at them, then contemplates ending his own life, but Baker calms him down, urging him not to make a mistake. Soon, the vultures land on the shore and step into thick fog. They find countless corpses, realizing they've entered another monster-infested zone. Moments later, dozens of new Deinonychus attack, leaving the team almost defenseless and facing certain death. Seeing the hopelessness, Logan decides to draw the monster's attention to himself, sacrificing his life. Having lost his best friend Keys, he no longer sees a reason to survive and aims to do one last good deed. He shoots several Deinonychus, lures them into the jungle, and ends his life, feeding the monsters. That night, the group locates Borodin's camp and reports the coordinates to Jericho. The colonel orders the collider not to be destroyed until reinforcements arrive, intending to seize it for military use. Ignoring the order, Baker vows to destroy the dangerous weapon of the future and cuts off communication. Jericho and several squads rush to the coordinates, while the vultures infiltrate the guarded facility. Their mission: plant explosives, disable the collider, and blow everything up before backup arrives. Moving quietly, the American soldiers take out several Russian guards around the perimeter. Meanwhile, Konnan, Nikita, and Sergei return to base to report in. After speaking with Borodin, they become disillusioned with the general, and are immediately arrested so they won't be a threat. Having already planted explosives, Sofia and Baker free and recruit the two men who've lost faith in Borodin. At the same time, the general is told about the death of a small dinosaur and goes to inspect the kill, only to discover it's a T-Rex hatchling. Its parents soon arrive and launch a brutal revenge. Working together, the Tyrannosaurs tear dozens of soldiers apart. Bullets and tanks do nothing to stop them. These beasts crush metal and slaughter anyone in their path. While the general escapes into a bunker and prepares to fire up the collider, Miller is attacked by Konnan. Obsessed with vengeance against Americans, Konnan recognizes one of the soldiers as a participant in the massacre of her village. Badly wounded, Miller detonates explosives to kill Konnan, sacrificing herself to save the others. The rest of the vultures fight their way into the bunker to stop the collider and take down the general. Baker wounds him, but Sofia chooses not to kill the man, a decision that proves disastrous. In the confusion, Borodin slips away and the soldiers can't find him. A new horror follows. The raptors aren't six, they're dozens, maybe hundreds. Using grenades and smoke, the soldiers fall back. They manage to shut down the collider, but now they have to find a way out. Raptors kill Nikita and find Borodin, making him their prey. The rest flee through a tunnel system, but Taylor becomes the next victim. When the group finds a ladder leading up, Baker decides to make the final sacrifice so no more of his men will die. Leaving his rifle, a knife, and a few grenades, he lures the raptors and takes them out one by one, buying time for the others to escape. When Sofia, Vern, Xavier, and Sergei emerge, they see Jericho and reinforcements. Joining forces, they fight off hundreds of attacking raptors. Realizing they're outnumbered, the troops fall back and evacuate by helicopter. The vultures' explosives obliterate the collider and wipe out the military base. Watching the aftermath, Jericho laments the destruction and blames the vultures for losing the collider. He believes that weapon could have changed the Cold War and made the US dominant. Sofia tells him humanity faces a far bigger problem. The dinosaurs are migrating. They soon show up in every country and on every continent, forcing humanity to stop fighting itself and unite against a far older, stronger, primal enemy.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, feel free to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one, it's gonna be a blast.